think the best way to put the discipline in the model of our relationship is by communication. It starts with outlining responsibilities. A lot of times, how does it work? The tenant comes to you, you sign an agreement, you pass them the keys, good luck, and probably that's the last time you see them. The question is, how good of a tenant are they? How many times have they rented? What is the past experience they've had? We don't know. We don't know what they relate to. So to me, if I want to have a good relationship and create the model, it's about setting out the expectations. So the expectations would be, before we give the keys and when we do the inspection, this is a time for us to build expectations. So we go through and we say, okay, here's how everything is. Here's the expectations of who's responsible for what. We're responsible for the overall maintenance. You're responsible for, like keeping the place clean and in good working condition. If you break things, you fix it, and so on. Light bulbs, who's responsible? You change it or we change it? Of course, the tenant. But do they know that, right? If it's just, the faucet starts leaking, please call us. If it's just a washer, can you change it yourselves? Yes, we can. Great. You've built your expectation that they will change it. It saves you a lot of money. It's setting the parameters of a relationship. When they call you, at what numbers, how quickly the response will be in what situations. If you need to enter the unit, how much notice, how things work. When is the rent paid? When do you expect it? In what format? What happens if they're late with rent? With us, we tell all the tenants, as you can see, we look after our properties. If there's a question or concern, please call us. We'll respond right away. If it's an emergency, it's going to be done, immediately or within 24 hours. If it's non-emergency, it's going to be done within 48 hours or as quickly as time permitting. So basically, they know what to expect. The other thing we tell them is that, if the rent is late, it's not personal. We understand things happen, but the rent is due on the first of each month. So if it's not due on the second, you will receive an 04, which is termination for non-payment of rent. You'll have 14 days to make the payment. If you do not, we will file with the board. So you understand, not only when we serve it, we will actually register the late payment with the landlord association so that you understand that your credit rating is being affected as well. Now, if you see all that being discussed, as a tenant, what is your reaction? These are professional, this is a business, and I have to act in kind, right? What are the chances of them being more open to say, you know what, I'm a little bit short here, I'll delay the rent versus making other payments? Well, if they understand the consequences, chances are they'll concentrate on the rent, not on other expenses, right? So this is why having the relationship, having the right communication is very important. The other part is never lose sight of the importance of good communication. Because a lot of times it's not about calling the tenant and saying, you did this wrong. It's calling the tenant and saying, we have the following problem, tell me how we can fix it. If I call somebody and I accuse them or I threaten them, what is the natural reaction? To defend. Even if they would have been open at the beginning to find a solution, if you attack or you accuse, the natural reaction is to withdraw and to defend and resist. Would you agree? So from that perspective, what I found is that a lot of times we are able to avoid a lot of the complications by asking the tenant, okay, you've been a great tenant, we got these issues, what's going on? When you do this and this, here's how it affects us, and here's what's going to happen. What can we do to make sure it doesn't happen again? Or how can we help you to make sure this doesn't happen? And you come with a solution that they agree or they propose it. Now, if they propose it and they agree to it, what are the chances that you'll have a good working relationship? So can you see how the difference works? One side, being accusatory and aggressive and threatening, doesn't usually work that well. Or finding a common language. It's about respect. As human beings, we all go through challenges. And you never know what's going on behind in their life. So having that understanding and compassion for people will build a better relationship and will make more money for you in the long run.